Hi everyone, I'm Jennifer. Welcome to Antiquing Adventures. On this channel, I share the fun, quirky, weird, and beautiful things I find in thrift stores, rummage sales, and antique malls. Thanks for coming on this adventure with me. As we ease into fall and, dare I say, closer to the holidays, we're moving closer to that season when families are looking for indoor activities like board games. Board games go back thousands of years. The earliest known game is called Senet, which originates from Egypt and goes back to 3500 BC. If you want to know more about the history of board games, I've included a link to the Wikipedia page in the description. Of course, I've never seen any ancient games on my adventures, but I am going to share some interesting vintage board games I found. I've never actually played or heard of most of these, so if you have, make sure to let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your memories of family time around these games. I've also included a link in the description for a website that has information on lots of vintage games, so you can learn more about your favorites. I remember reading the Blondie comic strip as a kid, so this game caught my eye. As best I can tell, it's probably from the 30s or 40s, and is a fairly straightforward advance on the board type of game. Players start at Blondie and Dagwood's house and move to the bus stop. From there, they use the spinner to move to a corresponding color on the board, and whoever gets to the office first wins. This next game, in my opinion, would require players to be really comfortable with each other. Sippa Fish is dated 1936 and had 3 games that could be played using the game pieces, which included Sippa straws and tissue paper fish and sharks. One game involved using the straw to suck fish out of a large bowl into their own bowl while avoiding the sharks. Another had players crossing the room with a fish on their straw without dropping it. The third game involved passing a fish from one player's straw to another player's straw without dropping it. Now, the manufacturers did take care to note, for sanitary reasons, see that each Sippa is used by only one person and then destroyed. Safety first, folks. Touring is a card game produced by the Touring Card Company starting in 1906 and eventually sold to Parker Brothers in the 1920s. The version I found is from the 1940s. Side note, loving that car on the box. Players use mileage cards to try to, quote, drive a certain number of miles before other players. This game apparently was the inspiration for a game called Mill Bournes, which eventually became more well known. This version of Skunk is from the 1950s. It's a dice game in which players roll to acquire points, with the dice having skunks instead of the number 1. The first player to reach 100 points or higher wins that round, and the game can continue as long as players wish. Tension from 1970 is an easy, fast-paced game which challenges players to match colored discs to the color on the spinner and quickly place them in wells on the board. The first player to get rid of all their discs wins. My guess is a lot of those little discs went flying when things got really competitive. This last game is one I actually purchased and have played, albeit only one time so far, but it was a cute and fun game. The Game of Hollywood Stars dates from 1955. Players start as extras and face various challenges as they advance on the board. The goal is to become a star by reaching the center of the board first, but to win, the player must have both $12,000 in property and an Academy Award. Even when it's not being played, the graphics on the box make this a fun game to display. What's your favorite vintage game? Have you played any featured in today's video? Share your memories in the comments. Also, let me know if you'd like me to feature more videos focused on vintage games. If you like this video, make sure you follow the adventure by subscribing and hitting the notification bell. See you on my next adventure.